Security guide.
I want PSIRA to be more involved with workshops, have monthly workshop with security companies where they train the security companies why is it important to pay and quote correctly. PSIRA give us a guideline how to quote correctly. But people quote, security companies quote half what PSIRA propose you to quote because when they give the price, the structure how to quote, it includes your public holidays, include the guys leave and sick and bonuses and night shift allowance and everything's included there. And everybody in uniform. If you quote according to that, then your company is going to grow.
Hi, good morning, Christopher Claassen. How are you doing?
Rafi, Mswaki, it's so good to see you. I haven't seen you in years, I would say. I'm just seeing good things about your company, and it's so great to be part of your show.
It's an honor to have you. Welcome to the Security Guide, as you can see at the back. How you been?
Doing good, pushing through, trying to achieve and reach to the highest potential in life.
That's good.
That's what I'm trying to do because life has become so short, and while I'm still have the breath, I'm going to push as hard as I can to see people's lives change.
Always staying positive, eh?
Absolutely.
You know, I met one guy, in Joburg, and then he asked me, how excited are you or how motivated are you from a level 1 to 10? And at that time, I don't know, I gave him not a 10, and then he told me, listen, Rafif, she showed me like this, and then he said, feel your pulse.
Wow.
And if you can feel it,
Wow.
it's a 10.
Wow.
You're alive. You have breath in you.
If you have it, then you need to push.
You need to. Yes, you need to be grateful.
Absolutely.
Yes. So take the listeners back, Christopher. Who Christopher is?
Christopher Claassen is a young man, and I call myself still a young man. I still have all the energy to be called a young man. I can still jump on the roofs and jump over walls. So I believe at 50 years old, I still have the energy. Born 1975 on a farm. In the southern tip of Africa, more to Bredasdorp side out there. Grew up there for 19 years, matriculated 1994. And then roughly I went after school, after my matric exams, I went to work on a holiday resort, cleaning the toilets and whatever I need to do as a young boy. And then I was supposed to get my first check. And then I had to got my money, and then my mother was working in Cape Town at that time in the 1990s. And then I said, my mommy, can I come to Cape Town because I want to come and shopping. I want to buy for me something, clothes and whatever the needs were. And then I came to Cape Town, and then I was walking in the town center, Mrs. Plain Town Center. Then I saw a security guard standing at one of the stores. I think it was Sales House and all that stores. And I saw he was standing with a baton, handcuffs, and he's fully uniformed. And I said to myself, wow, I always wanted to be a police officer. In Rafi, and then everything just started from there. You know, I come from a divorced family. My parents got divorced when I was about 13 years old, and I lived with my grandmother on a farm because my grandmother had a farm in Bredasdorp area. And that is where I was raised. I know what is agriculture all about. I know what it is to milk the cows and to go fetch the donkeys, and grew up in a house where there's no water, no electricity, outside toilet. Go fetch water in the river and take the donkeys and donkey cart, and then we would go and get some wood in the bushes and then come back and make sure there's water and wood in the house.
Wow,
it was my job as a young boyki. So and then after that, after school, I must go to the gardens where we were doing the farming, take out all the what do you call it now, the onkruid and the grass in. I had to go and do it. It was part of my daily job. Wow. And I'm so glad that I've been raised between a town and a farm.
Taught you values, eh?
Yes, and now I understand what this agriculture is all about. I understand what it is to be raised in a town in Gansbaai. And then I moved to Cape Town, to a city. Now to have the expertise of all three, and I think our life is basically based on your experiences, how you were raised, and so you understand what farmers are going through. You understand what people are going through in a town, and understand what people are going through in a city. But my whole life changed actually when I came to Cape Town.
But tell me, when you were growing up actually in school, did you have a desire to maybe study, go for tertiary education, or what was the conversation? Or for you, you were just getting through school and there was no game plan? Like, people generally that come from more influenced families, the parents are telling them go study and do that and whatever. So what was that conversations like?
Yeah, Rafi, my desire was to become a police officer one day. This was tough for
Okay.
us at school because, we were raised on a farm. And we know, it was actually very shocking for me to come to Cape Town. My English wasn't up to standard. We never hardly hear people speak English.
What year was that?
1994.
So that was just apartheid time.
That was
Just when it,
yes,
it ended.
our matriculants were made history, because
okay.
we were when we just switched over to democracy.
Okay, the first
we were
election was in that year.
Yes, was
basically.
exactly in that year. So we were part of that group at our high school in Bredasdorp.
So a lot of opportunities that time, eh?
Yeah, but amazingly, Rafi, I never knew it. I was actually selling cigarettes at school from grade 9. At school, I was the merchant selling cigarettes, but I never smoked. Because I come from a farm, I had to sell pears. I was selling chicken. I was selling doves. I was selling donkeys. At age, so I actually became an entrepreneur
From a young
at a
age.
very young age without even really knowing that I'm going to become a business owner.
Okay.
So, and I just believe that God sometimes pick people and He chose people to fulfill a certain duties as part of His plans with your life in the community society we live in.
Your parents were not entrepreneurs, business owners.
No, my father was a fisherman. My mother was working in Lenteghe Hospital in the kitchen. I had one uncle who was my role model. He was a captain in Polsmoor. He was also the leader of the band. So he was actually my role model because my grandmother used to boast a lot about, Uncle Eddie got now promoted. Now he's now a sergeant, and then he became a lieutenant, and he's now a captain. So that really motivated me, and also to be where he is one day in life. And he was my inspiration when I was actually young.
Okay, no, that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so take us. So you were at the train station, you saw the security guard that we thought that maybe it's a police or
Yeah.
whatever. And then, so take us, how did that journey?
And I asked the security
Transition.
officer, don't you employ people? Do you have any vacancies, and where's your offices? So he guided me to Polka Square, where the mother of the plane is here in the town center. And I went upstairs and I spoke to the owner of the company. I said, listen, I'm looking for a job. And they said, okay, I must come the next day. No training. At that time, training wasn't. So the time was still the SOB.
SOB, yes.
Security Officers Board at that time.
Yes.
And it wasn't in. And roughly they said, okay, I must come the next day. The next day I went for my interview. But I came with a sword or a sweater on. No idea, really. I must dress me appropriately. And they said, okay, you must start the next day. They employed me. My first site was the Mrs. Plain Plaza.
Okay.
And that time, it was still the old plaza. This is now we got a new plaza. That we had time at the roof. It was like, and we had to lay on the roof because the people used to break through the roof into the shop. And we had the big boxes with a shotgun, no training. So that time, it wasn't so compulsory really to have firearm training like it is today now.
Yes.
And my life started there. And then they posted me different places. They even posted me in sites where I had to work alone in the town center, where it's dangerous. So actually everything started there, Raf, until they sent me to a site in Bellville Mall. It's called Smart Center. And I had to travel with guys in a train. In the time, my first salary was $770 per month. 770 rand per month. I think security guards get this now on a public holiday per day. I used to get that per month. And I was traveling, you meet different security companies, security guards, and I asked them, how much you getting paid? They said, no, we pay 1.5. And I said, I pay 770. The most I've earned at all guard security at the time was 880.
Okay.
So it was for me a lot of money.
So basically, when you used to go to work every day as a normal guard, your attitude, was it despondent? Was somebody that you're curious to, you wanting to learn, to grow? Was it just somebody that I'm just getting a job, and also the other guards around you? Yeah. How was their mentality back then?
Rafi, I was also go get the guy. You know what? For me, it was like, wow, this is the best job in the world. Not really knowing really what kind of jobs are really out there for me. But for me, I was every day on duty. I never book off sick. I work even 14 hours. I work triple shifts. For me, it was a pleasure for me to doing the work just to be employed by a company because I'm expecting a salary at the end of the month. So for me, it was a pleasure. And
how did your people treat you? Sorry to cut you off. It's just I'm just because generally that is like almost an A player.
Yeah.
I mean, generally sometimes your leaders, how did they see that, or did they?
They loved me. The reason why is Claassen never say no for overtime. Claassen is available on his off days. And my bosses liked me. My managers loved me because I'm a guy who's doing the thing. that is what really, and that is, I'm going to explain to you later my career further in this industry, how I ended up as eventually as a security company owner. Yeah, and while I was doing it, so okay, so I said I got to resign from my company, and I went to other company in part of the island, Transcare Security, and I cried when I submitted my resignation. I was literally crying, and I'm so sorry that I had to resign because it was very emotionally for me. Started my first job, and I had to resign due to financial.
How many years you worked there?
Probably about 4 months or 5 months I worked there.
For 5 months.
Until I hear somebody offered me something else. Went to Transcare, and Transcare sent me on a grade E and a grade D. So I went and done my training. Then I put me on a site where I had to work 14 hours per day.
So you actually, at that point, they sent you for training?
Transcare sent me for training. Now I am now a registered SOB security officer.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And I worked there for 14 months.
14 months. Okay, so you were moving through the ranks.
Right. Now I'm moving now on the one site where I was very naughty. I was looking after the petrol attendants, and also they were a truck hiring company. I was looking after people must come in, they must sign their vehicles in. So they leave the key with me. I was so naughty that I even had to drive the vehicles. I had to train my young brother, he was probably 12 years old, how to drive in the yard. That they always say, don't give a security guard keys of a vehicle, he will drive it. Don't give him an open telephone, they're going to call and make unlimited phone calls. So I started there, Rafi, and then a security officer next to me from another security company said to me, he's got his own security company. And I said, can I also start my own company as well? Now I'm only about 2 years in the industry, no experience.
Wow.
And I said, right, let me do it. And he started as a CC, and I registered my company as a sole proprietor at that time. Right? Now I had to
sole proprietor.
Sole proprietor at that time. Then I had to resign from this company now because I got my own security company. And Rafi, I then eventually got into now I must go look for contracts. That time we had that acta tassa, that cases.
So wait, just take us, the audience, because I don't want them to miss this over here. So if you actually heard, so you were first month, so let's just break it down almost where Christopher was. So you were first 4 months in your first company, right? Then you moved on to 16 months. So I'm just that's almost 2 years, basically.
Almost 2 years, yeah.
So after 2 years, you had the dream to actually move on to the company.
Right, start your own company. Yes.
Wow. And at that time, did you not think of, where you're going to get resources?
Nothing.
Who's going to come work for you? You just jumped in.
I just jumped in.
You just jumped in without thinking.
In life is sometimes, Rafi, people are sometimes in a position where they are today because they just met the right person at the right time.
Yes.
I was at the right time, met the right person.
Yes.
Right, Rafi, I got my bag, I resigned from the company, and I had to go and look for contracts. No idea how much they charge, no transport, no backup funding, no office. That cell phones only came out, I think, 1997, 96 cell phones only came out at that time. But I remember that time, I'm still, their cell phone wasn't out at that time yet. Rafi, I got in the train. Literally, I had to get off at Epping. I had to physically go to contract. I think I had a kind of a profile. So my friend helped me to get a profile. Who's Christopher and the documentation, Rafi. And I went to speak to clients. How many contracts do you have? I said, I have no contracts, sir. That's not when I'm talking with the clients. How much you... It was like a joke. And I'm going to explain to you again why businesses fail and why I went wrong. Okay.
But now we're just on that time to open up a security company as a security guard, because I know now if you're opening up a security company, you need to be a B grade registered, and it's now I think it's about almost 7,000-8,000 rand, and then your fees every year you're gonna have to pay, and you're gonna have to have they're gonna come to your office and check everything. So you have to have a certain amount of money back even now to start the company, but back then.
That was required. I don't even know if I had a PSIRA certificate. I can't remember. All I know is my company is registered.
With CIPC.
CIPC, but not with SOB at that time. I don't know if it was a requirement at that time.
But you had a company basically.
A company registration
under your name.
I got at least a grade D. At that time, there was no required for you to have a grade B. To be the owner of a security company. Now, since the PSIRA came in, I think it is the new laws that they came in applied.
2002 that they took over.
Right. Now, went to clients, no idea. I don't even know how to charge, what the rate is, but I submitted the quotation. Rafi, you won't believe me. 5 years after I submitted my profile offer to one client, they called me. After 5 years, that same client is called Bonviso. That was my first client I had with my first security company. But remember that time, sole proprietor didn't work out well.
So you took 5 years.
5 years.
So in that time, what were you doing?
Okay, remember the first 3 months, looking for contracts, getting into a train, walk from client to client, no contracts. 3 months, remember I must still pay rent where I lived. And I had to resign, okay, because I had to leave everything. Just drop everything. Then I went to look for a job. Then I went to Grey Security that time, and they didn't have employment for me. I went there after went to Federal Guarding. Federal Guarding was a soldier of a station. So I worked for them as a guard. They put me in the hotel industry, hospitality industry, worked there as a guard. 3 months I worked there. They promoted me to a shift supervisor. 3 months I worked, they promoted me to a site manager, was running the Radisson Hotel in Greenpoint. 3 months I worked there, they promoted me to the head office. Once again, if I was waiting for my reliever to come, the inspector brought a reliever to relieve me, but the senior controller of the company was also there with me. And he was sitting at the back of the bucky. So I was also got into the back of the bucky as well. Once again, the right time with the right person. And I asked him, sir, is there no positions available in the control room? He said, yes, we're looking for a controller. Please speak to the managers there, sir. I said, okay, I'll speak to my manager at the control room, at the office.
This is at Federal Guarding.
It's not Federal Guarding. Look how once again, 3 months as a site manager. And he said, okay, the boss called me and said, okay, we got a post for you, but I must first get a good replacement for you. They then promoted me again after 3 months to the head office control room, where we were 3 controllers. Rafi, after 3 years, my senior controller resigned. Not the same one, somebody else resigned, and they promoted me to become a senior controller.
Wow.
Now remember I'm now a young boy, 27 years old. I was in charge now of 12 inspectors on the road, probably about more than 1,000 security guards on duty. This young boy is running the company on behalf while the owners of the company and managers are at home. Rafi, and then I was then a senior controller for about a year, and that I got very frustrated and upset because the inspector, who is my junior, they get promotion to assistant area manager. It is very frustrating for me. And then I said to my boss, I said to myself, but Christopher, but you cannot get upset. You cannot become an area manager if you don't have your license. I went for my license, got my license. Now I got my license, notify the owners of the company, I got my license now. And they're still promoting inspectors. Go over my head, junior getting promotion before me. And I said, I'm going to resign. Rafi?
Nepotism.
My boss called me in.
I think I met a Federal Guarding. I've been to that guy's office about 10 years ago. I don't know if it's the same owner.
The company's closed now, but I can explain to you again.
Is it that same owner that was always been there?
Yeah,
that was a white guy from.
Yes, they were about 2 brothers, twins.
Yes,
and then also a younger brother as well.
I don't know his name, but I have canvas business to him.
Right.
I think his kids go to Bishops.
Right. Okay.
So
so you're long in the industry. You know what's happening in the industry. Sure.
I mean, when I started out, I went to most of the directors, and I used to sit there. And I would do it. When I started out, people wouldn't believe that I used to go myself to Langa, and I would take out my gazebo alone in the car, and I would sit there and I would hand out flyers.
Wow,
solo alone. And I used to go to Kailicha, and I used to go, where they sell that meat and those shops and whatever. Yes. I used to walk alone in there.
Wow.
Tanoon. Back then, they were
risky areas. You sacrifice it for your family.
Yes, you have to do whatever you have to do to get the aid. And I mean, you know what? I look at those days that if anybody feels that they want to get to the top,
right,
you have to start at the bottom, and you have to really humble yourself.
Yes.
Before you can actually sit on a seat on a pedestal where people are gonna where people will where you can now delegate and stuff, but because you have to start then. And I can see that obviously, the determination and that you constantly want to be better. It's like, when Will Smith say, if you're a bricklayer, just focus on laying that one brick perfectly.
Absolutely.
And then you lay the next one.
Absolutely.
And because the thing is, you can't see past that brick.
Right.
Because that's as far as you can go. But you're doing it to the best. Eventually, you will get there. Step by step.
Absolutely. It's the key.
It's the key, and it's just nice how you're navigating through your life. Okay, so let's get back to where you were now. So you were
senior controller.
Senior controller, yes.
Right.
And from there, how did you now? Because obviously the guy was actually now promoting.
His promotion. Before I get promotion, I've been working longer for the company. That's so unfair.
But that's big in the industry. I don't want to mention names of certain companies that on the skin color
Right.
of, certain exec, and then they have one or two dummy
Right.
directors just for the BE.
Right.
And you'll see
In the
that
meantime,
the exec is only one color.
Yes.
We're not going to mention the
Yes,
race,
yes.
which one it is.
Yes.
And down there, it's just how it is.
Absolutely.
So a junior will come, and then his senior will be there, and eventually, if he's not the right
Yeah.
color, that one gets
That's
above.
above, yeah.
It's a normal.
Yeah. So became very frustrated, and I said to my boss, I'm going to resign, and I don't see a future for me in this company. Now I'm working for the company probably about 4 years, 5 years.
But
now.
that's probably where you got proper experience now.
That is
because-
where, now remember, look the processes now. From a guard, sub-supervisor, site manager, assistant controller, senior controller.
so
right.
you know all the ranks now.
Now I'm going through all the ranks
All the
now.
ranks.
Remember, I still have the passion to have my own company because it is still in me to be entrepreneur, to have my own company. Then Rafi, and I said to my boss, I'm going to resign. I don't see a future. The boss said, come here. Why? I said, sir, people get promoted in the company. They just came here about a month or 2 months ago and they become assistant area manager. Okay, no. You're not going to resign. You start tomorrow as the assistant area manager because the senior manager is on sick leave, new operation. And I became then assistant manager. After 3 months, the senior manager of that area came back and I became his assistant. Right? Now, about 3 months now as assistant area manager, explained to me everything. I got my clients, how to train, how to service them and all that. Rafi, my senior manager decided he's going to go to England. I think after about, a few months after that, he decided he's going to go. And then he resigned and I became eventually, remember we were 2 managers running the one area.
2 area managers.
2 managers, the senior manager and I was the assistant.
Okay.
My senior manager is the boss uncle. Federal Gary's boss.
yes.
Uncle, he resigned, went overseas, and I became the senior area manager running the area alone.
Wow.
Because those old men trained me the proper way. There's no absenteeisms. Normally during the festive season, people don't come to work.
Eastern Cape.
Managers need to stay and by on sites, inspect. But in his area, none of that problems. You know what, Rafi? And after a year being assistant of the senior area manager, I decided I'm going to start my own security company again because that passion, that desire was still inside of me. Because remember, it's been birthed since I've been in school, selling. And I started my own security company in 1994.
Wow.
Sorry, 2004. Sorry, 2004.
2004. Okay, so that was an interesting time, 2004, because so you came in the market. So at that point in time, did you have any savings? Did you have any? Did you basically have resources, or did you just start with basically the skill level that you learned your experience?
I then approached a few of my friends, 2 of my friends who was working for companies. They also took the package, and all of them contributed, I think, 7,000 each into the company. They had both of them had cars.
Okay,
No experience.
So you formulated a partnership.
Yeah, partnership with three
of
guys.
these.
Yeah,
Okay.
No, we were 3 altogether. Both of them got cars, so it was a plus for me. So our first contract then was actually, I think, was OK Mini Market. OK Mini Market in Morgan's there. And because they got their father got also a OK Mini Market in Strandfontein. So we started the one, and then the next one also in Strandfontein. Then we started Monteviso. And then we started quite a few contracts as well. And then eventually we went so big that we were doing even hospitals, Prince Albert, Nelsport, in Lynsburg Hospital. We were doing the Cedarburg municipality.
But just take the audience around. So when you 3 started, what was your role? Were you like maybe the finance guy? Was the operational guys? Because you all had different roles. How did you navigate that? Or did you guys just go with the flow? Just get everything. We just sort out.
Yeah.
So
We split up the sites and say, okay, everybody's responsible. Okay, because we only when you started OK, the 2 OKs, one partner was responsible only for OK. You had to work also physically there. We all work on the site.
so you were physically.
We were physically working so that we could have an income because the profit wasn't that good. So we were forced basically to work also as guards. I worked the morning shift and one of them worked the afternoon shift. But when we started the Strandfontein one, the one part they had to go to Strandfontein. While being the other part that we stayed there. Then we got another contract in town, 9-story building there.
Wow.
And then I said, guys, now I cannot work on the site anymore. I need to be everywhere and make sure invoicing, and I had to do everything because they don't have the security expertise, but I have all the experience now. At least I know how to tender, I know the pricing, I know contracts, I know because I've been now area manager of a company. This is where the information has been shared with you.
Okay, yes.
You understand? So I'm now ready, but still know how to run a company. Started at Rafi, it was tough, make money, and there was some issues with partners. One partner wasn't active. The one partner was active because he was still working for the company. And then then a new guy came and said, listen here, I can get this specific client. I know the owner, the manager direct is about $1 million contract per month. He said, come join me. That time we were hungry for contracts. Went about 4 or 5 months. No contract. He said, where's the contract? You told us we're going to get a contract. So I had to let him go. Now we're only the 2 partners. And then things didn't go that well between the 3 of us. And eventually I paid him out. And then I was the only one. And then I meet a new partner. He was a marketing guy working for the company. And he joined me. And we went 50-50 in the business. Okay, because of his expertise. And then he was doing the tendering. And then we got all the hospitals. We got Cedarburg municipality tenders. We got Overberg and Overstrand. And we were like flying over. And then he wanted to go on his own as well. So my brother saw his son in Cedarburg municipality talking with my guards because coincidentally, my brother went there to Cedarburg and he saw him how he's talking. And our tender came to an end. And in the meantime, he registered the company. So like a client told me one day, don't go in partnership. You don't know what you have tomorrow. Because you will go tomorrow to your office will be empty. So don't go into partnership in security because you are going to burn your hands by doing it. Rather run it yourself alone. You know it's yours and you know you're going to have it tomorrow and you know you have it tomorrow after tomorrow. So this is what he taught me, one of my clients. And from there, Rafi, we went like very, very big. And then there came a time, my turnover that time was probably about 1 million per month.
Wow.
That time. So with our contracts all
So
over.
how many years did it take you back then? From you started
2004
and then you moved on to
by 2006, 2007, and I think we were reaching already 1 million per month.
What was your guard complement back then?
Sure, let me think about now. It wasn't a lot, probably about 70 or 80 guards at that time. But I made the money in the harbor because we were doing the oil rigs. You know, so there's a lot of money came from the oil rig because you're charging now ad hoc rates, normal rates that you normally charge for a normal permanent client. And I think from there, my life went to a level, bought me a truck, bought transportation. You know, I had a good life at that time. But then, Rafi, that is where things went wrong.
I always tell, you know what, it's not that it goes wrong or whatever. It's just that, you know, our people, I wouldn't say like, you know, it's about financial literacy.
Yeah.
You know, we don't know how to actually, we all good maybe as operators, but actually as investing, when you actually have you actually now starting to make an income, what do you actually do? And I think most of us, myself included, it initially when you actually do start, you know, financially, you know, you're getting more than what you need.
Right.
What do you do with that excess? Because you only need a certain amount to live with.
Right.
The rest of the money, it's either you're going to use it for an investment,
Right.
you know, teaching, which is it's the long discipline way, or it's about pleasuring and it's about the vanity metrics where you're actually going to, you know, spend on things that is not going to give you a return.
Right.
Keeping up with the Jones type of thing.
Right. Right.
And once you go down that road, oh my God, you have to keep feeding the beast.
Right.
Whereas when the initially when you started out as a business owner and whatever, you're more of an operator and everything. But now you have access to things that we were never privy to.
Right.
And nobody teaches you how to handle that.
That is a good question you ask me now. Remember, that was my failure. Rafi, I know every month $1 million is coming in my account. Every month. Every month. This is like a part of the security industry. You know that money is going to come in every month because you have contracts with clients. Rafi, I had so a good life. I could fly wherever I want to fly. I could go and pass on boat cruises. Lekker. I could enjoy it. But then that one day come. No, I never had a mentor. And I think this is a mistake a lot of people make. You need to have a business mentor. You need to have a spiritual mentor in your life. So I never have a mentor in my life. There's nobody who could guide me financially what to do with my money.
Well, that's why we're having this talk over here. So anybody's listening can actually understand that it's a whole lifestyle. You know, once you get it, it's then another responsibility to maintain it.
That is good.
That I would say is even harder.
Yes.
To maintain.
Everybody want to start a business. There's nothing problem to start a business. Can you manage your business properly? Yes. Can you make sure your company is compliant? Can you make sure your company is growing financially, investing money? That is what you need to do. So, Rafi, then that one day came that the client was doing business in a harbor said the company is going to business rescue, liquidation. They owe me 250,000.
Wow.
They can't pay nobody out. 2 months thereafter, one of my clients also said that unfortunately they're going on tender.
What year was this? 08, 09. That's when the housing crisis busted.
I think it's around about that time.
Because the market tanked about
Yeah.
that time over there.
Then one client went on tender. I lost that contracts, the 2 contracts. Then one client, there was a theft. The client refused to make payment to me. So Rafi, now I'm in trouble. I am now financially in trouble. Everything happened the same time. I went through divorce. Everything happened like in a period of 6 months.
Wow.
Now I'm in big trouble now. My income is enough. I still got a few contracts left, but the contract is not enough to sustain me. I then sold that contracts to a security company, Mr. Plain. And I was forced to go and look for the job again.
Wow.
And I went to other company, and I went to Fidelity as well. I went to work for them.
But
area
how did
manager.
so wait, let's unpack this now, Christopher, because obviously, you know what, people that's listening to this is
Yeah.
obviously having the dream, you know what, it's nice to open up a security
Yeah.
company and, you know, everybody think it's hunky-dory, you
Yeah.
know what, you're going to be, you know, on
Yeah.
beaches and, you know, you're going to just do whatever you want to do and
Yeah.
whatever. But people don't understand the responsibility that you
Absolutely.
have. And, you know, this is, I tell all the guys, you know what, when you are a security owner, you have to administrate money on behalf of different
Yeah.
funding. So if you
Right.
basically get 100 rand in your
Yeah.
account, you know, like maybe at least maybe 80 to 90 rand is not your money.
There we go. That is the mistake.
It's not your money.
Absolutely.
So you probably getting like 10 rand or 12 rand out of
Yeah.
that 100 rand.
Yeah.
Now you think, wow, you know, 1,000,000 rand, it's, you know,
Yeah.
maybe like 500 is mine.
Right.
No.
Right.
You administrating that money on behalf of somebody. Then you have to, once you pay everybody, whatever's left over, you then have to take the money and let it work for you, either in property
There we go.
and either other
There we go.
diversify. Because when the day comes and the things that the market turns, you are prepared for it.
Yes.
Because they always say you have like 7 years of good times and
Yeah.
7 years of bad times
Yeah.
or whatever. You know, that's roughly the thing. So you have to always think of, you know, when things are not going to go right. And I think a lot of business owners that I see, when they start making it,
Yeah.
the egos and they you know, they think that they are something, you
Right.
know, but you know, stay humble,
Right.
because you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yep. Rafi, that's why businesses fail. I think it's why majority of businesses fail today because of lack of experience,
Mm-hmm.
of knowledge, overspending, and poor planning.
Mm.
And I failed in overspending. I never knew. I always thought it's going to be another million next month, and it's going to be another million next month. And after this failure, Rafi, I went on YouTube and I was listening to how millionaires, how to become a millionaire. And majority of all of them say property investment. Instead of buying me a truck, I supposed to buy me a plot. And supposed to start building on that plot. Build me apartments. But it's too late now. Money's gone.
Rental income, yes.
I'm telling you, and that is the mistake I made. And whoever's listening to this videos of to this interview right now today is, if you want to start a business, doesn't matter what it is, especially in security, you need to have knowledge about the industry. You need to do proper planning. You need to make sure that you are not overspending, and you need to make sure you're compliant. A lot of people, when they have a lot of vehicles, they have a lot of staff, a lot of managers, they can't even afford all of them. You always increase your staff of your managers depending on if there is enough funds to employ a new manager or buy vehicles when you have enough money to buy more vehicles. And a lot of people going wrong. They're not only in security industry, but in every industry. Make sure
100%.
you stay compliant. And a lot of companies, they close down because they're compliant. Contender.
And another thing is also, you as an individual have to be an uprighteous person. You can't be addicted to vices.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, all the vices. I mean, I don't want to get all spiritual, but you know
Yeah.
what? If you have to you stay away from
Yeah.
vices.
Yeah.
I mean, if you focusing on any of those vices, you are not gonna make it,
Absolutely.
because you have to. You're a leader now, and people are looking towards you, and
Yeah.
you have to take care of other people's
Right.
livelihood also.
Right.
So they're looking at you and depending on you.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if you at the top of the company don't have it together,
Yeah.
you always emotional, and you're not physically present, and people can see that, hey,
Right.
listen here, this leader over here, he doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll get exposed and they smell it out,
Yeah.
and then basically in no time you will lose everything, because people can see they're not going to work for somebody that is they don't know where he's going.
absolutely.
He doesn't have his life in order. He doesn't have he can't control this. Where can their future being somebody that is unstable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So so for business, it's not only, we're not only talking about the security industry. Anybody, any
Yeah.
South African that feels that they want to get into it, it's a lifelong journey
Yeah.
and a lifelong learning
Yeah.
and a lifelong of a lot of things. It's not just you reach to the top of the mountain. Wow, it's time to relax.
Yes.
You know, call all your friends. Let's have a prize and show off the
Yeah.
cars and whatever,
Yeah.
because you're not going to maintain that.
Yeah. True.
There's no way you're going to maintain it. And we've all seen the rise and falls of empires.
We've seen it. And what happened to me? Rafi, but I'm so glad what I did with my money. I can feel proud what I did with my money because I had a church also.
But your spirit is still good.
You understand? I stayed so positive.
Yes.
I understand things do happen for reasons.
Wow.
But I invested a lot of my money in building the church, the kingdom of God. You know, that's what I was doing, helping people. People come from overseas. We hosting them. I took from my money, invested in pastors, invested in the communities. So I know in my heart, I've done a lot of investment into people's lives.
So Christopher, the compliance in running a security company, how did you find it, and the different type of boards?
Rafi, number one is very important. You need to be compliant for you to tender. Not even tender at government institutions. Also need to be compliant in corporate as well. And I think the mistake with people, the mistake that a lot of new security companies are making, they go too low on prices. Remember, when you go low on prices, you can't pay the guards. You can't put money aside for leave, bonuses, provident fund, COIDA, Infinity. You need to quote for that. And I think this is where PSIRA comes in. I think what I want to see PSIRA is doing is not just to come and do a visit, your annual visit, and see if you still compliant, do you pay your guards accordingly. I want PSIRA to be more involved with workshops, have monthly workshop with security companies where they train the security companies why is it important to pay and quote correctly. PSIRA give us a guideline how to quote correctly. But people quote, security companies quote half what PSIRA propose you to quote, because when they give the price, the structure how to quote, it includes your public holidays, include the guards' leave and sick and bonuses and night shift allowance and everything's included there.
Uniform.
And everybody in uniform. If you quote according to that, then your company is going to grow. But the problem is, there's so a lot of fly-by-night companies just want to get business. I don't care. They even quote the salary of a guard.
Wow.
If a guard must get 7,500, some company even quote 8,000, and they pay the guard 6,000. Or they just grab somebody from the street without training.
But that's not regulated.
It's not regulated, and they are the companies who's messing up the industry, making it difficult for companies who really want to quote accordingly. And I said to PSIRA inspector now recently, I said to him, what you need to do is, I think what you must do, you must give all security companies a fixed price that they must quote clients, which will include provident fund leave, sick, night shift allowance, Infinity, and all that thing. Everything must be included. Then you get to a total. Say example, I can make a rough example. Say 20,000. It includes the guard plus his leaver plus all the benefits. 20,000. Then your company can decide how much profit are you going to add on the 20,000. But at least you quote it. But you can't charge 15 and 12,000 and 10,000 for the guard. You are out-quoting yourself, which means eventually you are not going to pay now your provident fund to the guard's provident fund, because you must make your contribution as well. You can't pay the guard's COIDA. You can't pay Infinity. You can't pay his leave, because there is no money because you didn't quote your client. Now, the day when a guard must go and leave, there is no money.
There's no money, yes.
And that is what we're facing. And I want PSIRA to get really much involved in here, even go to that extent and say, show me your client's contracts. I want to see if you quote accordingly. Because if you don't quote accordingly, then you are going to pay somebody short and pay the guard less. That's the problem we're facing currently in this industry.
But also the clients, they refuse to pay the market rate. That's why they feel that, if you're gonna come and pay the PSIRA rates and all that over there, that's why the market is flooded with foreigners, unregistered guards, because the client said, listen, it's a security guard, you know what, we're not gonna pay PSIRA rates.
Yeah.
And then that's making it difficult for the people that are being compliant. So
Right.
so obviously there must be something also. The client needs to also be educated on that. So it's a twofold thing.
Rafi, what's actually happening now is that, because the competition there's a huge competition between security companies, price-wise. Because some companies charge 17, some charge 12, some companies charge 8,000. clients know that I can get a cheaper company. But if there is a standard rate in the industry, then they are forced to take any company. The only difference is what services do you offer. I can say, okay, we do CCTV cameras, we do arm response, it is add-on services that we can offer, while the other company don't do it. And then the client can choose, basically. And if that doesn't happen, then we sit with the problem. And this is the problem we sit in Canada, because clients can still choose who they want to. Some clients don't even care about, are you tax compliant? Are you BE? Some clients do care, and some clients don't care at all. And I think when we're going to make it standard requirements, then clients afford. Because if a client don't have a security company, let's make an example of a big factory. If I work for Levi, if the client decide, okay, we are not going to have security at Levi, every staff member will walk out every day with an extra Levi pens. So how many thousands are they going to lose per day in times of the worth 31 days? So clients will be forced. Now, even the clients must push up their their markup on their products now as well now to keep up, so they can what's the right word? So they can afford to pay the security fees.
Yes.
So it shouldn't be a problem on their side. They must just increase their product totals. It's all.
I agree.
So if then they are forced, so if you go and tender and I go and tender, you charge 22,000 for a guard, I charge 23,000. There's not a much big difference. And you can't charge 30,000 because then you're going to outquote yourself. So which means the money that we charge the client will cover everything. And that will keep me out of trouble, and I will be more compliant. And I will also survive. I think PSIRA need to step in here because they are the body controlling the security industry.
100%. No, that's interesting sites. But okay, so now I want to shift a little bit about if I'm a security and I want to tender, what sort of tenders do you get? So explain to the audience a little bit about the different types of local, provincial and national, and how does it work, Just
First of all, you need to be registered in a database, a central database. You need to go on the website. Everything is there.
CSD.
The CSD. You go and register yourself on there. Some different organizations require. I think when you register on the CSD, then you can tender for government and for City of Cape Town also, because they could require your CSD number
So
on the tender. On the tender, that's now for government in municipalities. And then they require from your tax clearance as well. They require your B certificate. Some tenders also require your Infinity, is your your Provident Fund, and there's another one called now the SALT. It is also I think SALT is the Provident Fund as well. That you need to be compliant. You need to have all that in place. You need to have your they're not too strict into your business profile. They require it as part of it, but it's not compulsory. But there is certain things that they require from you. If you don't have any of the documentation or not registered with it, then unfortunately, then they will definitely decline you and you won't be able to tender, because when you submit your tender documents, because why in the City of Cape Town, in the Civic Centre, there's a lot of boxes out there. Okay, and there's boxes got numbers like a post box thingy. So you put your document in there, they will advertise the tender, and you need to be also part of a tender portal where you can see when tenders are coming out. It's also required of you to attend briefing sessions as well, where the City of Cape Town or the government required to be physically on that specific site. Then somebody do a walkabout and explain to you exactly how many guards is required, and they will tell you how much guards are required. You can't tell them, oh, we need 10 guards. They already know how many guards they require, and you must quote them according to that. When you must include everything, your Provident Fund, your leave, your sick, your bonuses, everything must be included in it. And then you got a cut-off date. There's a closing date of the tender, and you need to make sure that you are there on time. You can be, if you're 1 minute too late at the tender box, there will somebody stand there. If the tender closes at 11 o'clock in the morning, there will somebody at the tender board who will stand at the tender box. If you're 1 minute late, they will not allow you, because there's people, security companies normally sitting on the inside, and they will see when you're late and they close the box. And you can't put your tender into a box next door because every box has got a number. And on your document, you must put in there also the box number and what the tender is for and your company's name. And then what happens is, then the box closes, then all security companies sitting inside, there's a table, and then the tender board officials, they will take out all the tenders out. They put all the envelopes on a table, they open it up, and they put it out, take the first company's name and say, okay, the first company's name is Millennium Security Company. They quoted for this 3-year tender 165,000. Put it down, and the security company sitting there can also writing it down as well. Take out the next tender, and what now? This is the first process now. And then the tender board take it down to the next level. They see if you are compliant with everything. And if you're not compliant, they will send notification. I'm sorry, your tender has been declined, or if you were unsuccessful due to not being compliant, your tax clearance wasn't there. So it's no use for you to go and tender
If you don't have
if
all the
you
documents.
don't have all the documentation in place. Right. That is now the government in municipality. Then you go to the private sector. Private sector is a bit different. Obviously, you need to go to clients, you need to submit a quotation. And then sometimes the clients also require also some of that stuff is part of their requirements as well. Some clients don't care. If you go to any smaller shops, they say, just give me a guard. I don't care who it is. Sometimes a foreigner, they don't care. They just want a guard in full uniform. So it differs from industry to industry and from client to client. So it's completely up to you. You can go, especially in Mrs. Plain. I don't want to attend in Mrs. Plain. The people don't want to pay in Mrs. Plain. And I'm not talking about the shopping centers and hospitals. I'm talking about
Yes, the
private companies here. I don't want to tender because they want to pay you the guard's salary. And I say, unfortunately, I'd rather walk away, but I'm not going to underquote myself.
There's one security boss that told me, if he hears, he'll know who he is. He told me, I asked him, why don't you go in the private sector? Because he's only with government. And he told me, no, you know what? I'm not a beggar. I don't beg for my money.
Right.
You see, I only do government contracts because they pay on time.
Right.
And I mean, people have that perspective that that if you are in the private sector, sometimes I know a few companies that it's quite risky because if the client don't pay you, they say they can't pay you, you have to drag.
Yeah.
Where do you get the cash flow?
Yes.
So
that is happening with government. That's why I say there's a lot of security companies only focus on government tenders. But what if the government don't pay you? Remember that guard is going to protest now. They're not going to go to work because they want their money. And what the what government is going to do? They just take you, they just cancel your contract. That is the saddest part. And they basically close your company if you don't have other private contracts as well. So I want to encourage anybody who's going to start a security company, just make sure that you don't just tender for government. If you submit your invoice too late also, they are not going to pay you and you will go over to the next cycle and you need to pay the guard. So for guys who want to start a company, start with 1-man and 2-man contracts. Don't go for the big contract because you don't have the cash flow for uniform. You don't have the funds for that. Start small and grow bigger at a later stage. This is my encouragement to anybody who currently has a security company who's trying to grow. Or if you want to start it for the first time, go and just quote right.
Or somebody's ops manager that's tired of their boss that's looking to already start a coup and taking some contracts. That's the general thing that happens, when somebody's working sometimes long for a security company. And then the ops manager or the area manager decides that he's going to open up his own security company, and then sometimes he takes staff that takes contracts with. But okay, so I want to move to a different section here. It's basically about the youth and to get in the opportunity now for people to upskill themselves. What sort of opportunities are there? Like the mothers that are sitting there, my son failed matric, or, there's, unemployment is at 30-odd%. What do we do? Do we wait for some politician to hand out sweaters and promise us jobs, or what's the way forward here for South Africans that are hungry and needs jobs?
Yeah, Rafi, I would say security in a cleaning job is probably an entry job just to take you to the next level. Because I don't want anybody to really. I know people. I've been 30 years in industry now. I started 95, and I'm still in the industry. There is a future for you. Then you must really work yourself up into your company where you're working. So number one is for those who's the first time listening to security out of industry work, you get different grading: a grade E, a grade D, a grade B, and a grade A. That is the grading in security, and you need to go through a training center who can accredit you for that. And it's very important. If you do that, then you need to wait for your PSIRA certificate. This will be the Pretoria is the company of PSIRA in Pretoria. Then will load you on the system and say you are now a registered security officer grade E or DC. You must go and fetch your certificate at the security PSIRA offices where you pay your fee. I think it's about 50 Rand you pay for your certificate. How much is it now?
It changes. You might just go on the website, but it's not too much, 70, 80 Rand, I'm not too sure.
And then you have a certificate which you can keep for it. It will be valid for about a year. And every year you must go and renew it, and you get a new certificate. And then your company you're working for obviously need to deduct 7 Rand from your salary every month, and they must pay it to PSIRA. Or you can yourself pay it directly to PSIRA, maybe once a month for the year, and you pay directly to PSIRA, or you can ask the company to deduct it from you. I think companies are required to deduct it from your salary. And I think once you have a certificate, then you can basically start doing security work. You cannot perform security duties without having or being registered with the Security Officers Board. Now, for you as young in the industry, if you want to start a career in this industry, it's very important for you is start there, work yourself up. And you probably might ask, how much can I earn as a security officer? You can earn between 7,500 minimum, because I don't see anybody earns less than that, because your salary will go to 7,500 per month, up to 50,000 rand a month. You can even earn up to 80,000 to 90,000 a month if you become a general manager at a big security company.
Wow.
Even site managers like shopping centers and Vodacoms, some of the managers, site managers earn up to 50,000 rand a month. So there's good money in this industry.
And I mean, like, you can see what's happening in the political arena now with within Durban, and with that minister that says what's going on there, and and a lot of security companies came out to back him and whatever, and they're saying that security must help fight the crime. You understand? So there is a good opportunity for people to get in security. For somebody to be an entrepreneur, you have to have that desire, that hunger. I always say that like they say, like, what does education do? And it's like, let's just say we have this wall here behind me. We need to get through this wall. So I think an educated person will say, listen, you know what? Maybe we need to hire this thing. We need to build maybe a ladder. Maybe we can at some weak points so we can do it neatly, cut a small hole out there, and then move it out less. But somebody that maybe is not educated, what he's going to do is get me a sledgehammer. Let's smash this thing through here. We break through. Whatever we're going to do, we're going to get through. It's maybe not the most prettiest way.
Yes.
But it's that hunger. You're just pushing forward. You might not be.
You want to achieve.
You want to achieve.
You
might not be always educated enough, but So I would just say it's that desire, and some people just don't have it. They settle.
I'm just happy with.
Yes.
And I'm preaching it so a lot, and I always say to my church people, always, you need to start moving with millionaires. You need to start changing your existing friends you have now, or family members. You remember, if you're poor and you keep on moving with poor people, you're going to stay poor as well, because poor people can't teach poor people anything to become prosperous in life. So start shifting, moving, get new friends. And I said on Sunday in church, and I said to them, when we started this industry, we started to do no contracts. And client asked, how many contracts do you have? And I said, well, we have 75 contracts. Wow. Where are you? We just say, because we didn't have, and we had to lie. And I said, sometimes you need to come up with things. Move with people who have money. Even when you go, they say, how much? Okay, I'd pay it this time. Maybe it's your last money. Just pay in, just to be mingle in with those people.
Exactly.
But the moment you start keep on moving with the same type of people, year after year, you're going to stay.
Your mentality
need to change and move. You need to switch over. And I think if you can't do that, then your life is going to be really, very difficult.
And just lastly, I just want to say thank you. I mean, for you that you started your own party, and how is that going?
Rafi, Spectrum National Party is a new, I can't say new anymore because we are 5 years in existence now. And I can say that we are the fastest growing political party in territory. We are in all 9 provinces. We are in Johannesburg, Pretoria, Cape Town, East London, Pretoria, Port Elizabeth, we are in Durban, and also Springbok, we are in Kimberley. We don't have the numbers, and we didn't contest in the 2024 elections due to funding. And I think it becomes a very expensive exercise to be in politics if you don't have the funding. But we started now with something new, starting our own business that will fund Spectrum National Party. And my desire is to see people prosper in life. As a pastor,
so give us like 30 seconds to 45. What does your party stand for?
We're standing for equal race governing. We believe that this country belongs to black, brown, Indian, and white. Although we try to move away from this race thingy because why it is creating racism and divisions, but unfortunately it is what it is. Blacks will move with blacks. They will socialize better with one another, and brown people with brown people. But our desire is to see equality. That is a rainbow nation. You will see it, our logo. It is the rainbow. And we believe that everybody should be treated equally, including our youth, disabled, elderly, men and women. And we're sitting with a big crisis here, and this is the burning issues in this life here. And our desire to see that everybody has their own land, everybody has their own house, everybody is got a job, service delivery is much better. And if we can, that's why Spectrum, we've got 4 deputy presidents. We've got a black, brown, Indian, and white.
Wow.
No political party on earth has that policy in place. And when God gave me the vision to start a political party to help people, and I'm not doing this for money because I've been working in the community for 30 years without getting paid, telling you that I'm not here for money, I'm here for change. And while I still got another 10 years left in politics, I'm going to do everything in my power to really reach out and help people and change their life. That's why I'm giving free advice to people what to do, how to start their businesses, especially the
Nice,
youth.
man.
I guide the youth. Somebody came out of prison. I took him to CIPC in town. I registered his business. Somebody wanted to start his welding company. I help people, and I want to see people prosper in life. There's no need for you to suffer. There's no need for you to struggle. Move with the right people in life. Be positive. Don't go after the flow. Do what is right for you and build a future for you and your family. It is my heart's desire to see.
Beautiful, Christopher. Tell me lastly, where can somebody get hold of you or find you?
Yeah. Anybody can contact me or WhatsApp me on 072-493-6865. I repeat, 072-493-6865. And I'm open. I'm not one of those guys, I'm sorry, I can't see you. I go to places, I go to any communities, and I am willing to meet up with you to be part of the party. And let us change this country for good.
Beautiful, Christopher Claassen. Thanks for coming on the Security Guard podcast. Hope to see you soon, man.
Thank you, Mr. Masaki. Thank you so much for you. And it's good to see you. And keep on doing what you're doing. And I just want to encourage everybody out there, please come for your training. You won't regret it. Build a future for you and your family.
Thanks, man. All right. Okay.